We're now in Dcad lesson 13H, and we're continuing with drawing organizations and sheet notes. And at the end of our previous lesson, I indicated that we needed to add some additional information into our drawings here on sheet A2, and I've added some notes in red just to make them stand out. And I'm going to hit Z for zoom to zoom up to these so you can see them. Essentially what I want to do is indicate the headers, the beams above the door and window, and the beam above the garage door, and also the trimmers supporting the beam for the garage door. And also I need to add the footings to the foundation plan that are dealing with the point loads from that garage door, overhead garage door beam, which is substantial. The other thing is that we've already done calcs for these components, and I know that the just over here in the sheet notes you can see that we've already called out the trimmers. That's 2x6 number 2 Douglas fir trimmers supporting each side of the beam, and also down here you can see that we also have calced out for the point loads for the footings for the garage door header, and those are going to be 30-inch by 30-inch by 10-inch concrete footings along with the reinforcing. So that's all called out in the sheet notes already. So what I want to do is I want to open up the actual working drawing and make these changes on the working drawing, and then I'll import them into this sheet A2. And actually we could actually make the changes here and import them into the working drawing, but it's important that we keep the working drawing current, because it's the drawing that I usually refer to if contractors have questions or something, because it has all the information on it. So it's really important to keep that that drawing current with any changes or revisions that take place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up the working drawing, and which is D0614W1. I'm just going to double click that and call it up and hit Control W to zoom out. And what I want to deal with the floor plan, because I'm going to deal with those double trimmers for the garage door header initially, and also actually show the garage door header in the drawings. So I'm hitting L for layers, and I want layer 1 up, and that would be my current. I'm going to close everything else just by, hide the additional layers just by going down, click on hide all. And then I also want the text for the main floor up. That's layer 2 and 3. So I'm going to just hold down Control and click both of those, and just unlock highlighted layers. But I also, for fixtures, I want the fixtures up, because that's actually where I'm going to place the headers. So in the beams, and also the double trimmers. So I'm going to double click that and make that my current active layer and click OK. I don't need the hatching or any of that for the main floor plan open at this time, so I'm clicking OK, and I'm going to zoom up on the main floor plan in the vicinity of the overhead garage door header. So I'm in layer 4. So what I want to do is I want to show those double trimmers, and those are on each side 2 2x6s, number 2 Douglas fir trimmers. So what I'm going to do initially is to hit the rectangle command, the 2D box as it says over here, and I'm just going to set up point by hitting 0, and then I'm going to hit point relative, and I want 1.5 inches, and then hit tab, and I want 5.5 inches, and that will draw a 2x6. And there it is. Now this 2x6, that line is pretty thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fix that now. I'm going to go to Layers and call up layer 20, my lines layer, and click OK. And I'm just going to click this guy right now, and then open my info box. And I'm sorry, if I can find the info box. There we are. And I'm also going to hit Control W to zoom out so I can actually see my my lines over here. And I'm going to hit Z to zoom up on that area. And I'm going to use the same as little finger icon there and go to Floor Plan New Fixtures. There we go, and click on that, and you can see down here in the info box that it has changed the line width to 0.04, and also that the fill wide line box is checked. So I'm going to hit Control W now and zoom back up to my single trimmer, and you can see it's thicker now. And so since I'm just hit Escape and just right click and snap to the corner there and hit N to duplicate, and right click to its left corner. So now I have two of them. That's my double trimmers. So now I'm going to select these guys and put a handle at the lower right hand side here, and click my scroll button to initiate the command, and I'm going to hit M for move and right click into that corner, and that's exactly where these guys go. Now I'm going to scroll on over to the opposite side here, and I'm going to hit N, and I could just hit the mirror command, which would be actually the simplest way to do it, so I think I'll just hit that. That's the slash key, which is the mirror command, and right click to this lower left, this lower corner of the garage door opening, and there's my two trimmers there. So now I have my trimmers set, and these are the only exceptional post columns trimmers in this drawing, because the other openings, the door and the window, are small enough they'll just be single. I'm going to hit Control R to get rid of some of the artifacts that Dcad sometimes creates. So now what I need to do is I need to go ahead and create my beams. And so I'm going to show those beams at the midpoint of the wall line, and those beams extend to the end, to the outside edge of each trimmer. So I'm going to hit V for vector, and I'm still in layer 4, and I'm going to hit Control K to go to the center point of that outside trimmer. So Control K, and then I'm going to just hit H to toggle to orthogonal mode and come on over and right click to the outside trimmer and hit my scroll button, and I have a line there now. So now I'm going to do the same thing for both the door and the window, and we can see we have our artifacts have rejoined us. Control R gets rid of those. So now I'm going to hit V for vector, and I'm going to hit Control K on this door edge. Control K. Then I'm going to hit Escape, and I'm going to hit point relative, and I'm going to hit just clear that X and hit Tab and go minus 1.5 inches and hit Enter. And you can see that it's moved our cursor down and set a point at 1.5 inches beyond the door rough openings. So our header for that door extends 1.5 inches past a rough opening to the outside edges of its trimmers. So now I'm going to hit H and go on up to here, and I'm just going to hit the comma for gravity move, and then I'm going to hit point relative and hit Tab, and I want 1.5 inches up, and then I'm going to hit Enter. So now we have that, the header for our man door. Now also, you can see that the 3.0 call out for the door is going to be in the way of that beam. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click the top of that guy, and I want to rotate it around so it's reading in the right direction anyway. So I'm going to hit R for rotate, hit Tab, and hit 180, and then hit Enter. And now it's rolled it over to the right position and out of the way of our header there. So the header that I drew for this door is going to be very similar to the header for the window, with this exception. The windows extend out 2 inches past the wall line. That's just how I have my window symbols drawn. So if I Control K to the center of this window edge line, rough opening edge line, it's going to be too far out. So I know that my 5.5 inch walls, the center line is going to be 2 3/4 inches. So I'm just going to make it simple and just hit V for vector. I'm going to gravity move to this lower left corner of the window by hitting the comma, and now I'm going to hit point relative, and I want 2.75 inches in, and I want minus 1.5 inches. So you can see that it's located down there. Now I'm going to hit H, or I'm still in orthogonal mode, and I'm just going to gravity move to this side now, the upper portion of that window. Gravity move, and hit point relative again. X is 0, and Y is going to be 1.5 inches. And so there's the header for the window. Now, the only problem that we have at this point is that these beam/header lines are the wrong line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select each one of those, the garage door, overhead garage door header, hold down Shift, and I'm going to click near the man door header, and now I'm hold down Shift again, and I'm just going to click on the window header. So now all three of those are selected. So I'm hit Control W, zoom up over to the lines, and I'm looking for the floor plan beams above structural. It's quite a nomenclature. I'm going to use the same as command and click on the little finger there, and then I'm also going to click on that particular line type that I want and click on those, and I hit Control W, and now we can zoom up on these and see that the beams have actually been changed. So this is our floor plan beam indicator. A lot of times, for beams for like overhead garage doors and stuff, I also show an actual floor plan beam. And I think I will do it on this case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the rectangle or the 2D box command, which is the right bracket. And I'm just going to go out of orthogonal mode and click here. And I'm going to right-click the lower left trimmer on the left side, and I'm going to right-click at the upper right trimmer here. And so I'm going to select that beam now and hit Control W. Hit Z to zoom up over to these lines, and I'm going to use the same as command, and I'm going to click on floor plan beams above outline. It just outlines the beam. And I'm going to hit Control W and zoom back over here to the garage door header. And the reason that I show that beam often is because it also helps figure out for framing for the garage door mounting and that sort of thing. So it's just, it's not necessary, absolutely necessary to show that beam as a dashed line here, because we're already indicating the beam in a beam line here. But sometimes it's helpful for people to understand that there actually is a garage door header above there. Yeah, I'm hitting Control W now, and since we already have our A2 sheet open, I'm going to go ahead and import these particular items into our A2 sheet. So I'm going to, first and foremost, I'm going to click on the Windows drop-down menu, and you can see here that both of our open drawings are showing. So I'm going to click on this A2 drawing just to open it up here real quick, and I'm going to hit L for layers. I just want to make sure that layer 4 is visible, and it's not. So I'm just going to open that up now so it's visible also, and click OK. Now I'm going to go back to the Windows drop-down and click on my W1, my main working drawing. I should save that. So now I'm going to hit Z for zoom and select all those items that we've just created. Those items include both, and this I can do with a rectangular selection for the garage door header. So I'm going to just grab those guys like so, hold down Shift and select this header, keep Shift held down and select the header for the window. Also, I might as well go ahead and select my my text for the door, because it's been corrected there. And I'm going to set a handle at the upper right hand corner of the garage here. So you know what? I just realized something. Let me hit Escape and unselect all that stuff. I'm going to I need to note that the garage door is, what that opening is for. So I'm going to right-click on this 3.0 for this door, and just hit N to duplicate it and move it down here to the garage door. And also I'll use the attribute too, and N and select that. And now I'm going to right-click on this, and I'm going to hit R for rotate, tab 90, and now I want to change the text, and it's a 16.0 by 7.0 OH. And I'm going to click here to center that text, and now I'm going to select that again in Control C, and I'm going to change my attribute, and then hit Control V, and look how it's changed the attribute also. So now I need to go back and select all this stuff again. So I'm just going to use my rectangular selection, select all this stuff that's relevant to the overhead garage door, and I'm going to hold down Shift and select both my header for the man door and this text here. And I'm also going to select the header for the window, and I need to place a handle here so I can import this stuff into my A2 drawing. So I'm just going to go over here to Set Selection Handles, click on that, and right click to this upper right hand corner, hit my scroll button, and so now this stuff is selected and has a handle. So I hit Control C, and that copies all of it to the clipboard. So now I go up to the window in the drop down menus and click on the A2 drawing and hit Control V for paste, and I right click on this upper right hand corner of the floor plan and hit Escape, and you can see that it's placed all those items in the floor plan. Nice and simple. So one thing we do have is we have a couple of notations here of the man door. So I'm going to right click on the one that we don't want and just hit delete and delete it, and get Control M. And so all these notes, we've placed all these beams, the trimmers and the beam and all that above. So I'm just going to hold down Shift and select these red notes and delete them. And now I'm going to save this drawing. So the next thing we need to do is to draw our footings for the foundation plan. And those are 30-inch by 30-inch by 10-inch footings. So I'm going to go back to my working drawing by clicking on the Windows drop down and going to my W1 drawing, and hit Escape. I'm going to just save this real quick. L for layers. I want layer 15. That's my foundation plan. I'm going to click Hide All, and I also want layer 16 because that's the text for the foundation plan, and I'm going to want layer 20 for my lines. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to draw these 30-inch by 30-inch by 10-inch footings, but we're not exactly sure where they're located. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit L for layers, and I'm also going to activate layer 4, which is our fixtures, because that will show our trimmers. And our trimmers are going to locate our footings for us. So the first thing we're going to do here is I'm going to zoom up on these trimmers, and we want our footings centered under our load, under our vertical load. So that would be centered on this line that separates this double trimmer. So what I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to go ahead and just draw the footing, which is 30-inch by 30-inch, and I'm going to hit the right bracket, which is the 2D box, and you can see it over here. And I'm just going to hit 0 to set a point, and I'm also going to hit point relative, and I want 30 inches and tab, and then 30 inches again, and then hit enter. And so there's my 30-inch by 30-inch footing. I'm going to move it out of the way down here for right now. And the other thing I want to do is I need to change this footing to the proper line type. So I'm going to hit Control W, zoom up, hitting Z, into this area for these lines, and foundation plan square footing. This is the line I want to use for that footing because it's a different line type than the continuous footing. It helps point out that this is a different footing. So I'm using the same as command and clicking on this tighter dashed line and hitting Control W and zooming out now, and you can see that our footing is we're all squared away there. So the other thing I need to do is to deal with the text for the footing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I want that text is going to show the center lines of this footing for layout purposes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit V for vector and just draw from one corner to the next just by right-clicking, and I'm just going to hit my scroll button, and now I'm going to hit Control F9, which is the load symbol dialog. So what I'm looking for in symbols is center line, and these are alphanumeric, so I just go down to C, and I'm looking for CL. There's a CL text. That's not what I want. I want CL. I'm going to click on that one time, and that looks like a center line for footings to me. And so I'm going to click Open, and I'm going to get near this diagonal line that I just drew, and hit Control K, and that'll center it on that line. So you can see it right there. So the good news is that centered now, our center lines are centered on the footing. The bad news is it's still a symbol, because you can tell this because it has just the 4 points at the extent of the symbol. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and explode that. So now you can see that it's actually just the line is no longer a symbol. I'm going to hit Escape and select our diagonal there, and then hit Delete to get rid of that. So now we both have our footings and our center lines for the footings. Now the only problem is that our center lines for the footing are in the wrong layer because we imported them into layer 15. So what I'm going to do is just click on one, hold down Shift, click on the other, and go over here to the info box. I'm going to change those to layer 16 so that they're in the proper layer. So now we have one of our footings, and we have the center lines for the footings. I'm going to select that whole enchilada there, and you can notice that these center lines actually have a center point, and I did that on purpose so it would be easy to set handles to. So I'm going to go over here to Set Selection Handles and click on that, and then right-click to this center point. And then I'm going to hit my scroll button to activate the command. And so now we have our footing and our center lines with a handle right smack dab in the middle. So now I'm going to hit M for move. And I'm going to go over here to this, actually hit Escape and zoom up a little closer. Z for zoom. And now I'm going to hit M for move. And I want to get on this line that separates the two trimmers. And I'm going to hit Control K. And you can see that it centered it right on that guy. So now I'm going to scoot over here to the other side, to the right side, and hit N to duplicate and get on that line, or close to it, and hit Control K again. So there, we have, I'm going to just hold down my Control and scroll out a little bit and hit Escape. So you can see that we have both of our footings. And I can hit L now and get rid of the layer 4. We don't need that, or just hide that because we don't need the beam anymore. So now we have our footings located. Now the only problem that we have at this point is that our 1 foot 4 inch typical continuous footing is going to be in the way for our layout here. So I'm going to change that. And first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go up to my layer dialog and go to layer 16 to make that the current layer. I'm going to hit Control R to get rid of all of our artifacts. And I'm going to initiate the dimension command, which is Shift 2, or actually the @ command. And I'm going to right-click here at the inside edge of the footing, and then right-click at the outside upper right corner, and just pull it out a little ways. You see it says 1 foot 4 right there. But we also want it to be typical. So I'm going to just scroll out just a little bit further so we can see better. And so what we want to, so I could either just right-click on this and go in and click on the unit tolerance and then add that in the suffix, or the cheaper and easier way to do it is to just use the same as command and click on this guy here. And you can see that it's changed the text. So it says 1 foot 4 inches typical. Now I can right-click on this one and hit Delete, and it's gone. So now all we really need to do is dimension these individual square footings, and for that I'm going to click on the dimension extended command. So you just click on the dimension and roll on out here till you see where it says in the lower left hand corner, draw extended dimensions. I'm going to click on that, and you can see right now the radio button for horizontal, it says HOR, and vertical. And the horizontal radio button is selected, and that's the one we want, because these dimensions are going to run horizontally. So I'm going to right click on the corner, right click to the center line here, right click to the other center line, and right click to the other corner, and pull those down about like so. And then I'm going to left click there and hit my scroll button. And so now we have those footings laid out relative to the corners of the actual building. So the only other dimension that I really need to put on here is the dimension from the front outside of the wall to the center line of the footings. So what I want to do here is I also want a line going between these center lines to show that they're in the same place. So I'm hitting V for vector, gravity move, using the comma, holding down shift and going one small cursor step and setting to 0, or hitting 0 to initiate. I'm hitting H for orthogonal mode, hitting the comma to gravity move, holding down shift and arrowing once to the left, and then hitting the 0 and then hitting enter. So now I have a line that's showing that these two footings are aligned. So now I'm going to select those guys, and I want to change it to a different type of center line. And so what I'm going to do is I've selected that line, and I'm going over here to the actual line type, and clicking on the down arrow, and I'm going to scroll on down till I see the center line that I want. And it's going to be down here a ways. On down, I think it's down there somewhere. Center line 2, there we are. Okay, and let's see, I'm going to make this scale 4. Okay, so now you can see that we have our center line showing that these two footings are aligned. Now the only thing left to do here is to dimension from this lower edge. So I'm going to hit the dimension command, which is Shift 2, or the @ command. Make sure that I'm not in orthogonal mode. Right click on this corner, and then I'm going to right click on the end point of the center line here, and you can see that as I move out, if I, depending on where my cursor is going, if I get between these two lines, that's the point that I want. So I'm just going to draw it out here to the right a little bit, and then left click, and there's my center line. So now we have, I'm going to scroll out just a little bit, now we have our new dimensions, and the footings drawn, and the center lines drawn. So now I'm going to hit save, and what I want to do is I want to import this information that we've just created, you know, the footings, the dimension lines, and all of that, into our A2 drawing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a rectangular selection here and select all that stuff. And then I'm going to hold down shift and select this dimension up here. And I want to set a handle somewhere, and I think I'll use this upper right hand corner of the garage. So I'm going to go to set selection handles, click on that, right click up to this upper right hand corner, hit my scroll button to initiate the command. And so now I have these items selected, and I have my handle set, so I'm going to hit Control C, and that copies it to the clipboard. Now I'm going to go up to my Windows drop down, click on that, and go to the A2 drawing. Click on that, and go over here to where my foundation plan is, and I might as well just go ahead and select this one and get rid of it right now. Hit delete, and hit Control V, which is the paste command, and right click at this upper right hand corner here, and you can see that it's placed all this stuff nice and right where it needs to go. And hit escape, and I'm going to right click this footing note and delete it, and right click that one and delete it, hit Control W. So now what we've done is we've updated after the fact our A2 working drawing with both information on the beams and the floor plan and the trimmers, and also the foundation plan with the square footings. So now this information on our A2 plan jives with our W1 working drawing. So I'm going to save this now, and that concludes our Design CAD lesson 13H.